dancing. So while you're setting up, Susie and Christian, did I press play on that? Yes, I did. Yeah. So Wednesday, so I was like, oh, okay, better remember. And then I have been playing with these wonderfully creative flows, and I've been writing them down. And I thought, oh, just before I go, I'll do a bit of yoga, so just make sure I can go through my flows. And I put my book on the floor, went all chill, did my little flow, got up and went, bye! With my book. So I'm just going to do this from my head, which is fine because I normally do anyway. And we'll see where we go. So it's a creative flow today. And I've been playing with revolved half moon as a pose. So we're going to explore that as a pose today. It was part of the flow, but I'll have to remember the bit before. Anyway, we'll have fun. So I'm going to start, and we're going to start in child pose. But we're going to start in an active child pose. So bring the knees wide and the toes together. And get yourself adjusted, and it's also, there is me saying, it's really, really, really cold. It's actually really quite warm. So, I know, could be like in the summer. So, we're going to come into child's pose and just start to connect with the breath, bringing the forehead down to the mat and just allowing yourself just to sink into child's pose. And then breathing just into the whole of the torso. Maybe just activate, pressing into the hands, feeling the arms activate, maybe pressing into the front of the feet. And then just draw yourself up and walk your hands gently towards you. Lift yourselves up and just stretch and open through the chest. Maybe even just taking the chin down. And bring the knees together, bring the hands, and then draw yourself up. And just allow the shoulders, you might just want to drop between the heels, allowing the shoulders just to gently settle. And if you set an intention at the beginning of your practice that you want to take away with you at the end, then now's the time just to let thoughts come into the head. And then bring yourself forwards onto the hands stuck underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And we're just going to take a little cat-cow here. But as we draw into cow, lifting up, when we come into cat, we're going to tuck the toes and allow ourselves just a slightly different stretch through the back. Allowing the belly to engage. And then draw all the way into cow, flatten the toes out at the back. And then again, just working with the breath in your own time. You can tuck the toes as you push away from the mat. You can even take a little stretch, dropping the hips towards the heels slightly. Just work back and forwards in cat-cow. Work with the breath as you stretch out and inhale, open the chest. Pausing if you need. And then making your way back to that stacked back position, that neutral spine. And we're just going to remember that when we're pushing into our hands, our fingers, that we're going to just spread our fingers, dial those index fingers forwards, but actually think about the thumb and that index finger being the main focus, and then draw weight then into the other fingers. So you're just clawing at the mat there, and then draw up into the body. I'm just going to then circle the hips, dropping the hips, allow the hips to move. And one of the things I wanted to bring into this practice tonight was a few twists. So we're just going to just warm up any space, make the movement organic. If you want to draw cat-cow into this, rolling the hips, finding that squeaky floorboard. Yes. It's Anna's turn tonight.
It's the floor, not your knees.
It is, absolutely. And then come all the way back to that flat back position. We're going to thread the needle. And as we thread the needle, we're going to lift the hands out to the side. So actually I'll mirror you tonight, so there's few of you. So we're going to take our right hand out to the side. Thread it all the way underneath. Now what I want you to do is I want you to push into the back of the palm, into the floor, so you can really feel a stretch, or maybe a slightly different stretch as we activate. And then if you wish, you can either take the hand forwards, and it's the opposite hand, or you can take that left hand and wrap, and just take a gentle bind by wrapping that hand into the waist. There's options there. Wherever you are, just breathing into that pose. That's it, Christian. So the back of that hand on the mat there. Brilliant. Allow yourself to sink into the pose. Activating that arm, thinking about the core. And then gently draw yourself all the way back up to that stack back position. Soften elbows. Take a moment with the breath. And opposite arm now. Left arm extends gently out to the side and threads underneath. And again, pushing into the back of that hand, activating the pose. And try to find where suits that top arm. It might be that one side you want to stretch the arm forwards. We might want to open the shoulder a little more. Again, wherever you are, breathing. Allowing that breath just to move as well. And then gently unraveling, come back to center. We're just going to heat the core a bit. So come back to that stack back, tuck the toes, we're coming to hovering cat. So just gently lifting the knees, just a couple of inches off the mat. Gaze can be between the thumbs. Feel that belly just start to engage, core to wake up. Keep that breath moving, don't hold the breath. And then drop the knees to the mat. We're going to move the hands forward and walk ourselves into a really restorative down dog. So feet can be wide. You can pad the feet, stretch through the body. Thinking about the connection with the hands, the broadening of the shoulders, lengthening of the spine. Maybe just turn those toes very gently in towards each other, bend the knees, and allow the sit bones to rise, as if someone is scooping you from the middle and lifting you all the way up. Take a big, deep breath in your down dog. And then step to the middle of the mat. Come into this forward fold, Uttanasana. Maybe even zip the feet together, lifting the heels, starting to move, starting to warm the back of the legs, and bend those knees as much as you need to bring yourself down if you just need to soften the hamstrings. And then you're going to push as hard as you can into the feet. You're going to engage the core, soften the knees, and your hands are going to come out to the side like wings. And as you do, lift to halfway. Ardha Uttanasana. Lengthen from the base of the spine to the crown of the head, tucking the chin maybe just slightly so that you can balance that wee cup of tea on the back of the neck. And then fold back. And the next time we move, we're going to come all the way up. But we're going to do this by hinging at the hips still and using our core and our feet to push through the feet, lift yourself up all the way, turn the palms upwards, salute, and hands to the heart. And take a moment here, we're just going to now warm the shoulders up. And so I can't resist this. We have zombie hands. So yes, what do you call them?
Jazz hands.
Jazz hands. I know, but it's Halloween coming up, so we have zombie hands. You're lucky I didn't bring a pumpkin. Did last year.
We did.
We did. We had pumpkin yoga, pumpkin power yoga. Yeah.
Please.
Right. So we're going to take the arms open. Those jazz hands, and then take and almost round so that you're coming into little cat-cow, as it were. Inhaling, lifting. We're warming up the whole body. You'll see why in a minute. Exhaling round. Ominous. Bring the knees into it. I can remember my flow now. Inhale. Exhale round. Sweep all the way up. Lift. Hands to the heart. We're going to sink into chair. Bring the hands behind you. A low chair. So sink at the heels, at the knees. As we sweep the hands up, lift the knee. One-legged standing warrior. And push the hands forwards and the toe out. Lift the hands, lift the knee. All we've added to last week. Hands to the heart. Mountain sweep all the way forwards, lift. Exhale, hands to the heart. Little baby chair, we can bring the hands behind us. Sweep the hands forwards. And as we do, lift that knee, one-legged mountain on the other side. Bring the hands forward, push the foot, push through the heel. It's a tricky one to do. Inhale, lift all the way up. Bring the knee back into that pose. Hands all the way to the heart. Take a moment in mountain. Inhale, forward fold. Take a moment in forward fold. Maybe just gently pat the legs. And we're going to plant the hands, we're going to step to plank. Again, if at any point you need to come off the wrist, then please do. Making sure again you're rooting through the hands, pushing through the heels, engage that core by just gently lifting those hips very slightly. And we're going to do a little chaturanga press here. We're not going to go into full chaturanga. We're going to go inhale, exhale, little press with the elbows. Bring your knees to the mat if you wish. Back up to plank. Bring the knees down to the mat. Take a little cow on an inhale. A little cat on the exhale. And then flatten the feet, sink back, walk your hands. We're going to come to a little hip lift. I'm going to have to come forwards to do this. Hands come behind you, and then if you wish, you can lift the hips. At the beginning here, we're just taking a little hip lift. You can still sit, if you wish, on the heels, and just watch that neck. Allow the kind of the length of the throat to support you. So don't drop the neck back without any support. You can always take one arm if you wish to support the head. All the way forwards, walk back into plank. Take a plank here, inhale, keeping the elbows towards the back of the mat, little press, exhale. Inhale, back to plank. Exhale, knees to the mat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, walk, little hip lift, all the way back. You can go back. I'm going to burn myself in a radiator if I do. All the way forwards, back. Draw yourself into plank one last time. Inhale into plank. Exhale, little dip with the arms if you wish. Bring the knees to the mat if you wish. Inhale, back to plank. Draw the knees all the way to the mat. Inhale into cow. Exhale into cat. And walk all the way back into that little hip lift. And this hip lift can then come towards when we're slightly warming up into a camel. So we're starting to just train the body to go from that little hip lift and then exploring what's possible when we then take our hands onto our heels. So we're thinking about camel in a different way. So we can do that when we've warmed up a wee bit more with some vinyasas. But then, because sometimes we come into camel and we sink, actually that can sometimes put a bit of pressure. But if we've already opened across the chest and we're using our spine to lift, we can actually then start to think about bringing in camel in opposite way. So it's just a different way of doing something. So we're going to come all the way forwards, back into plank. And then we're going to step into down dog. And in down dog, we're going to play. Again, watch the wrist. If you need to come off the wrist at any point, then please do take a child's pose. Come into down dog, allow yourself to settle. Anchor your left foot and inhale your right to tripod. Keep the hips facing forward, so try not to come over to one side at the moment. Even weight into the hands. Then we're going to take that little side tripod, so bending the knee and allowing us to open the hip. So the right foot just comes across still, keeping ourselves fairly central on the mat. If you wish to take this further, you can actually straighten, push through that heel and stretch a little more. So I'm not coming over to the side in a wild thing yet. All the way back, bring yourself into down dog. Allow yourself to play on the other side. So anchor the foot, inhale, lift a tripod. Bend the knee and allow the hip to open. So the left heel comes towards the right leg. Or whatever side you've chosen, it doesn't matter. And then you could allow that leg to stretch a little, push through the heel. I'm just straightening the leg. It does give you quite a stretch. It's not for everyone. And then all the way back to the mat, into down dog. Just pad the feet out in down dog a moment. And then look forward and either hop or step to the front of the mat, into that forward fold. And bring the weight over the feet rather than leaning back into this forward fold. Bend the knees if you need to. And you can always bring the hands gently behind the leg if you want to just draw a little deeper into the fold, but don't force. Allow yourself just a moment here. And we're going to bring those arms up out to the side again. We're going to push, engage the core, push into the feet and push all the way up and lift back up. Bring yourself onto tiptoes. Hands to card. I didn't say come off the tiptoes. Bend the knees with heels just risen and bring the hands all the way behind you. Bring the heels down, bring the hands forward, chair. Forward fold. Leave the right foot at the top of the mat, step into a low lunge. Inhale, low lunge, crescent moon. Really push into that front foot, that heel, push into the back foot. You can tuck toes if you wish. And then hand is kind of frame that foot again. And the left hand's going to stay on the mat. We're going to open towards the leg in a twist. You can always keep the hand onto the waist if you don't want to extend that top arm. Lift the knee for a little bit more heat if you wish. All the way, framing that foot again. And then we're going to come to the other side in a little Skandasana. So we're going to face the long edge of the mat. We're going to lift both heels as we come into what you can bring this higher if you have any issues with knees. So you can come low down, or you can just ignore it totally. Doesn't matter what way you face at all, Claire. This is what I end up doing in class. We were everywhere last week. And then we're going to come up and over. So again, watch your knees, and you can keep really high on this. You can actually just do it to a high squat and just do a little kind of stretch there. Or you can come, and the thing with Skandasana is that you're keeping both heels off the mat. Now your hands might be forwards. See if you can challenge yourself to balance with hands at the heart and keep that really high, Anna, so that you're not, and soft. So while everyone else is trying to balance, just use a squat pose. So you can just use a squat, working into those heels, keep it fairly aligned. Everyone's going, please, can you stop talking? And then roll all the way to the other side, and as you do, frame the foot again, back into low lunge at the front of the mat. In fact, we're going to take runner's lunge now. And then just rock and roll a little bit here. Bring the knee down at the back to the mat, and as you do, roll into that half monkey split. So just stretching through that back leg. You're right there, Christian.
Yep.
Keep a knee bent if you need. Remember that core. Rolling forward, back into low lunge. Pick up that back knee. Allow yourself to step to the top of the mat. Really push into the heels, hands at the waist, bend the knees, engage the core, and lift all the way up, and then draw the arms all the way up. Come to tiptoes. Allow yourself a little bit of height. Keep moving here, balancing. Hands come to the heart, keep the heels up. Bend the knees. Allow the hands to come behind you, heels still high. And as you drop the heels, lift forwards with the arms, chair. Lift up, fold. Leave the left foot at the top of the mat now, step to low lunge. Low lunge, crescent moon. And your drishti, your gaze, is where it's comfy, but your drishti is just not a focal point. Drishti is a concentration point. It's about a place that you're looking, but you're gazing beyond. It's an awareness. So it's not always just a point on the floor or a point that we're looking at. It's that focus. Hands come all the way in. And we're going to twist towards that knee. Hand can come onto the back if that's more comfy for you. More heat, you can bring the knee up if you wish. And then we're going to play with that little Skandasana. So we're going to walk to the opposite side of the mat now and walk our hands. We're going to face inward. And we're going to lift, that's it, lift the heels. So you're in that lovely long line across the yoga mat. It's perfectly fine to have your hands balancing on that yoga mat. If you feel any strain in the knee at all, come up high. And then really push into that heel, draw that toe towards you. If you can, draw length into the spine. And again. The drishti, the concentration. Imagine just, I don't know, a beautiful coloured focal point we're trying to balance. And then allow yourself to come across to the other side, supporting yourself on the mat, stretching through the leg and lifting that heel. Again, might take a moment just to find that point of balance and lift yourself up if you wish with hands to the heart. And allow, Ingrid, especially that hip, allow that to open if you can, and if it's easier, so it's just you turning that knee in at the moment, allow yourself, that's it, a little bit of height there, opening the hip. And blocks, you could use blocks, if you've got blocks, grab blocks, because that also helps give you a little bit of height as well. And then we're going to just explore that as we come all the way across back. Frame that foot and just take a little rock and roll back and forwards. And then come into little half split, so that little runner split, half monkey split, whether you want to give it a name. I reckon that creaky floorboard actually changes every week.
It's certainly not doing much for my concentration. It's me.
I know. Always has to be a floorboard in yoga. It's obligatory, Anna. And just allow that stretch through. Come all the way back up. Lift to runner's lunge. And just a little rock and roll back up to forward fold. And again, you can float the arms as long as you're hinging at the hips and you're not doing a little roll up. You can take a nice big wide stretch. Hands to the heart. Take a moment here to balance, adjust if you need. And then lift one-legged mountain. Hand comes forwards, lifting up. Hand comes towards the front, and if you can, draw length into that foot. And I'm wobbling. And then we're going to pull ourselves into a warrior 3 variation if you can. Let's work on that balance. Pushing the heel back, warrior 3, well done. Don't need to keep that leg very high at the back. You could just keep it fairly low if you're wanting just to work on kind of that balance, softening that back knee, the standing leg, not the back knee, that one. And then we're going to just gently draw the foot down to the mat, so we bend that standing leg. Draw ourselves into warrior 1. If you've got quite a narrow stance and you want to adjust your warrior 1 stance, do. Interlace fingers behind us. And just gently draw just the chest open. And then forward into humble warrior, allowing the hands to come high if you wish. Pushing into the feet, lift all the way forwards, warrior 1. And then draw ourselves, frame the foot vinyasa, stepping into plank. You can come to full chaturanga if you wish, in up dog, or you can take a softer vinyasa. Doesn't matter, I'm going to just shift forwards. My knees are going to come to the mat, scoop my chest forwards, elbows towards the back of the mat into a little baby cobra. Exhale. Push all the way up to plank, lift to down dog. Been working with my right foot at the front, so I'm going to anchor my left, lift my right into 3-legged dog. And you can come just to a straight vinyasa, so bring your leg down to down dog.
again, or you can stay in this tripod pose. Lift up onto the toes and draw yourself forwards and then all the way into up dog.
I missed that one.
Oh, you did that.
What
Oh,
did I
Emma,
do
you
with
were
my
quick
leg?
now. Tripod,
Yeah.
forwards,
And then, yeah, that's it. Dive into up dog.
and then push all the way up into down dog again. Opposite left now, left leg. Lift up and dive yourself forwards.
And then into, that's it. Well done. Into little up dog.
Meet and down dog. And then we're going to work now on the opposite side. So if that was your right foot forwards first, we're now going to take left foot forwards into little warrior one here. Lift all the way up to warrior one.
And just relax those shoulders as well. Hands come to the heart. Turn that back foot high lunge. Working to the top of the mat again. Brilliant. Still working on this opposite side. Sweep the hands, lift, one-legged mountain. See if we can balance into that warrior three. Push all the way with the leg back and allow yourself into warrior three. Keep that breath moving. And then bend that standing leg, allowing you to soften the stance into warrior one and adjust. If you need to take a wider stance in warrior one, do so on the other side. Allowing the hips forward, sweep the hands, warrior one. And allowing the shoulders to do the natural thing and rise, but try not to pinch. So just allowing space. Draw the hands gently behind you, interlace the fingers, allow the chest to open. Push into the heels, so draw the heels towards you so that we're really engaging those inner thighs and legs, and then allow yourself to drop forward into humble warrior. Work with the breath here. Sweep all the way. Push into those heels again. Sweep to warrior one. And the focal point can be forwards or it can be up. And then again, interlacing the hands at the back, allowing you to just push into those heels, so drawing those heels towards each other. So you're really thinking about the inner legs. Try not to push the pelvis. Think about that neutral spine lifting, and then allow yourself to come forwards into humble warrior. Just allow. Sweep the hands forwards, frame the foot. Step all the way back into little plank. And we're going to meet in down dog. So lift, bend the knees and lift the hips up high. And again, any wrist issues, take a break if you need to. I'll try not to throw you on this one. So we're going to come into down dog. We're going to anchor the left foot. Inhale, the opposite to tripod. And take that knee to the same side elbow. So right knee to right elbow. Right leg back up to tripod. And then right knee to left elbow. And as we do, the sole of the foot at the back is going to turn and slide onto the mat, and you're just going to hug the knee if you wish in a little side plank. I told you I was going to throw you off the scent there. I know, Ingrid, I told you I've been playing. So, I'm just sorry if you're back to me, I'll show you both ways.
So you can just take a break if you wish, down dog, a tripod, however you wish, and then as I draw that knee in and across to the opposite elbow, I'm just sliding the sole of the foot, taking my hand off the mat and just hugging in the knee. Now you can just take a little gate pose at this point. If it's easier for you, there's a modification here. I'm just throwing some, if you're complaining, if you want the advanced option, then I'm going to push that leg forwards through the heel and allow the arm to straighten. It's just a play. I can show that both ways. So you've got options. If your shoulder's complaining, use a little gate pose, or just take a moment. You're right, do you want some help there, Anna? You know which way to go.
I'm really confused, so there's too many versions.
I'll do this way. We'll put this into a flow. So if we work on it now, so I'll do it so you can see this side, Anna.
Yeah.
So I've lifted my leg. In fact, wrong leg. I do it so you can see this. Lifted the leg, and I'm bringing it over to the opposite elbow. Now, if you're coming to gate pose, you're just allowing the knee to come in and line yourself up. So you can then play with the arm if you wish. Hand, so you're not extending that arm. And you've got a softer line and not so much. You can even use a block, you can kick the hand. So you've got still a lovely line pushing into the sole of the foot away from you. But if you wish, you've got the option of playing with tripod, drawing the knee across, a little hug. Okay? Or it's just a side plank variation, but it's fierce. So, and sorry Susie, we kind of do a little extra, so this is why it's quite a nice class to kind of join as well. But wherever you are, it doesn't matter, you can play, and I can feel that. See, it's better when I forget my notes, because I just go off on one, except I haven't done what I wanted to do yet. So we'll put that into a flow. I can open windows wider if you need. Emma, are you alright? If you wish to open a window more, you can do. So, let's go to the top of the mat. Take hands just to the palms, Anjula Mudra to the heart. Allow the heels of the hands just to connect. Take the hands out to the side of the body, lift up and palms to the sky. Draw up onto the heels. Bring the hands all the way down behind you and sink into a little chair variation. Draw the heels down, arms forwards. And then forward fold. Take a moment here, just ease your legs if you wish, bend the knees. And then you can place the hands and you can either step or you can hop to plank. Take a moment and plank. Bend the knees, push the hips high to down dog. Anchor the left foot, lift the right, three-legged dog, tripod. Right knee bends, comes to right elbow, higher plank. Back to tripod. Knee comes across to the opposite elbow, and as you do, either taking a gate pose or bringing the knee into the chest or playing. Turning all the way forwards, back, tripod option here. You can come to down dog and you can come to a child's pose. If not, you can do one-legged vinyasa, forwards and into up dog. Your choice. Roll over, lift up, meeting down dog. Step or hop to the front of the mat. Take the arms wide, push into the feet, lift all the way up. Draw onto the heels. Hands to the heart. Bend the knees, hands behind you. Sink the heels, arms forwards. Fold. And from here you can either step or hop to plank. Bring yourself to down dog. And anchor now the right foot, allowing the left to lift the tripod. Bring it to the same side, elbow, knee to elbow. Draw all the way back up. Opposite elbow, and as you come to the opposite elbow, your little choice here, modify the pose if you need. You can hold the knee in, you can push through the heel. All the way back to the mat, facing. Back to tripod if you wish. Take a child's pose if you need to, or come all the way forwards into little up dog. And then everyone bring their knees to the mat and allow yourself to just come back into a child's pose. Maybe even draw the hands to rest on the forearms or behind you. Even if you wish, you can take the hands and just take the soles of the feet behind you. And then really breathe into the back. Allowing yourself just a moment. And then draw yourself just up onto the knees. Bring the hands maybe behind you. Again, you have a choice. You can play with the hip lift here and just take your hands and just gently lift the hips, straightening through the front of the body, allowing the head to just gently relax. Or you can stay there, or you can walk hands and allow them to take the heels, and it may be you can come to little one-legged camel. One-legged, one-armed camel. One-humped camel, should we call it? Allowing, sorry Claire, I've enforced my jokes on you tonight, they are really quite bad. And then just fold back to that little child's pose. Doesn't matter where you are, just allow a little counter pose. And then we're going to push ourselves all the way up to little squat into Malasana. So just allow yourself, wherever you are on the mat, just to come into Malasana. I'm tempted, go on. I can see the Vicky's just got it written all over. I didn't even have to look at Vicky. If you wish and you're playing, you can, if you wish, start to play with little crow pose. So if you are playing with Malasana and you bring your feet onto your little perch and then allow the back of the knees to just touch, hopefully high up in the arm. You can just rock a little forwards if you wish. If you have a crow practice and you're engaging that core looking towards the mat, allowing yourself to look down rather than underneath. So if you're working towards it, then just allow just that connection, Susie. Allow Anna just the arms, the back of the arms to touch the knees and just feel where that is. Maybe allowing a little weight gently forwards just to start to train the arms that isn't really painful and horrendous. And then you can, even if you've got a block, you can actually step onto the block. No injuries, please. I have to redo my first aid in December, it's running out. I'd rather not practice before. So, and then just working. So you're lifting the toes and you're lifting away and playing, allowing that balance forwards. And the block's really good, Vicky, for it. And just even just being there, you're actually looking at that, kind of strengthening the shapes. Well done, Jenny. So think about engaging that core and drawing in and drawing those toes up. So the toes coming together, so you're lifting up. You're getting there. And then wherever you are, just take maybe a dangling pose. Maybe if you just want to come to the mat, you just want to just stretch, cat-cow, circling the hips. And then we're just going to come up to standing. And we're going to draw the hands interlace the fingers. I'm just going to lift them gently high. And then just allow a little side stretch. All the way back up and across. Back to centre. And now I'm going to confuse you again. I'm just going to play, and I had this in a flow, and for the life of me I'm not remembering the flow because I actually didn't practice this bit earlier, I just wrote it down. I knew it would work, I can't remember it. But we're going to play the pose anyway, and it's just a half moon. So I'm going to take whatever leg you want to start standing on, okay? And then, normally, the same side, the hand comes down, and we open up, so that I've got my right foot, my right hand here, and we come into half moon, not balancing myself there, but it's the same side. What we're going to do is whatever foot you wish. I'll try, so I'm mirroring you, so if you're using your right foot, I'm going to use the opposite hand. And I'm going to take that hand right out in front of me, allowing space. It might just be that you're here and that's comfy for you and you're balancing. It might be that you can take a little revolved half moon, and you might need a block. In fact, a block might just help with height. If you have a block, it's going to help you with height. Now, I'm looking at folk. Just be careful that you're not twisting or exacerbating any injury that you might have told me about on the lower back. We're fairly warm, so it's a nice thing to play with. And if you're really not keen on a revolved half moon, then just practice half moon. So what I'm doing, my standing leg in the centre of the mat. This is my left leg. Normally with a left hand that comes down to the block just in front. But I'm giving myself and my hips room, so I'm stretching myself forwards a little more and allowing that back leg to rise. Toes are still pointing down, and then I'm allowing to rise up again, lengthen, and come the opposite. It's strong on, well, I'm saying it's strong on my hamstrings. You might be feeling it differently, but I don't want to aggravate any back injury, so it's sometimes not the pose for anybody or everybody, and height sometimes helps. Equally, you don't have to raise that top hand. Remember that the option is there for that top hand to just be on
just a little turn, a little twist. So play. And if it's truly not for you, then come into half moon. And actually, do you know what? If you try half moon now, in fact, it's a good thing. Try half moon now, like the full half moon on the same side, and you might find that it feels easier. It might feel off balance for you. I don't know. But play, see which one you prefer.
I cannot do half moon as soon as my toes start
Okay,
coming
so
out. Okay.
So, is it that your hand is too close into you and you need to move your hand slightly further out because you're quite long top body maybe? I don't know. It's exploring, Amanda. So if you're playing with that, so Emma, make sure that arm doesn't go on the full half moon. Make sure that arm is not going beyond its range.
Oh, it's about
Yeah, I just caught it. It was about an inch.
Okay.
So it's shoulders, isn't it? I'm like, don't want to damage them.
How bad is it if I've got my hair on my...
It's a balance, isn't it? It's something that I'm trying to work out.
So if I've got my arm out further, it's more of a stabiliser.
This way.
Yes,
Yes, that's absolutely fine. So if you take it out a little more, it's relative to your body shape. So it's always about 9-10 inches and across slightly, which allows you that kind of half moon. I don't think that's an issue at all, because yoga shouldn't be about an exact positioning, because there isn't an exact positioning of everybody. We're all different shapes. So you and I have got the same markings on a mat with different shapes, so my block will be in a different place to yours. So I'll just allow folks to, and if you're just taking a moment, just find rooting through the feet. Straight should you stand in like baby. I always keep a soft bend, and it's the same in grid with any pose where we start to lock the knee and the knee goes backwards. I always just have a very slightly active, and actually we've played with Warrior 3 where we have that standing bend.
Yeah.
So I've no issue if that softens a pose. It's going to take, yeah, and that's going to take pressure out your hamstring. So, lovely, well done. See, I got it there eventually, I've written it, but we're going to just take a moment, Jenny. So we're just going to take a moment at the front of our mat. Hands to the side, inhale, lift. Hands to the heart, bend the knees. Allow yourself to fold and bend those knees generously. Take the hands out to the side of the body and come up to a flat back. Tuck the chin so you've got real length from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. And then fold. Allow yourself to bring the feet as wide as the yoga mat and sink very gently into little malasana, allowing yourself to come all the way back. And then allow yourself to come to a roll down. So draw your spine gently to the mat. And then bring the knees as wide as the yoga mat and let the knees, so the feet as wide as the yoga mat and let the knees come together. I'm going to reinvent Twister. You'd never be able to play it because I'd always win. Right foot, meaning your left hand. Oh dear. And allow your back just to settle. You don't need to push the back to the mat. Allow that S shape of the spine. Inhaling and exhaling. And then allow the knees gently to come into the chest. And you can just gently hug them. And maybe gently just roll on the spine. Or just allow stillness.
Maybe move the ankles, circle the ankles. And then place the soles of the feet on the mat, knees bent. And we're going to come in just to a gentle bridge, allowing the hips just to gently rise. You can either just take the hands towards the hips and allow a little bit of support with the elbows, making sure the knees are not splaying out. So if your knees are past your hip points, bring your knees just in line with the hip points. And then allow yourself just to gently bring the back to the mat. And we're going to take a supine twist. Now your choice, it could be that you just windshield wipe the knees back and forwards with the feet at the edge of the yoga mat. Or you might wish to take a deeper twist by stacking the feet, stacking the knees, and allowing yourself to come across. If you're taking the fuller supine twist, can you make sure that your shoulders are actually still towards the mat, that you're not drawing, because otherwise you're going to lose the benefit of it. And breathe deep. Breathe into this twist. Then allow yourself to come to the other side. Again, keeping those shoulders if you can, or maybe even extending the arms if you're comfortable with that. And then if you bring the knees bent towards the ceiling, but just lift the soles of the feet off the floor and hover, so you're just bringing the knees towards you, so you're not having to really use the core here. You can just allow a little bit of a twist gently. Watch if you're on a hard yoga mat and a hard floor. Just allow a bit of rock and roll. If it's uncomfy, draw the hands and draw the knees further into the chest, and just wanting to release any tension at the base of the spine. And then I'm just going to cross my ankles, draw myself up, and if you have blankets or layers or wish to just get a little bit cozier, I'm going to just take us through a wee relaxation. Which I did actually remember, the important bit. That's one I've used a while back with kiddies at school actually, and they absolutely loved it. So it's just a very straightforward relaxation. But allow yourself just those layers so you're not cooling down too quickly and grab the job. And allow yourself to get comfy in Shavasana. So just drawing yourself, gently settling the body. And in my class you'll know that you can take an alternative to Shavasana as well. You can bend the knees and have the soles of the feet on the floor if that's comfy for you too. So just settling yourself in Shavasana. Maybe just gently rock your head from side to side. Separate your feet so they're just a few inches apart at the heels.
palms facing upward, and just allow the fingers to naturally curl, allowing the eyes just to gently close. And allow your attention to be on the smooth, slow, serene flow of the breath. The exhale is cleansing and relaxing. Inhale is nourishing and energizing. And start to turn your attention inward. Start to mentally scan your body from head to toe and back again. Pausing briefly, aware of any area of tension. And go slowly. Sometimes the tension begins to feel normal. We actually don't recognize we're holding on to it. So if you discover an area of tension, imagine sending that breath to that part of the body. With the inhale that is nourishing and the exhale that's cleansing. And if you find the mind starting to wander, just simply bring it back to the breath. The inhale, the exhale. And allow the whole body to feel soft, feel heavy. Feel like you're melting into the earth below, relaxing. Allowing your eyes to soften. Allowing your forehead to soften, that wee spot in between the brow. And concentrate on that inhalation being deep and soothing and peaceful. Become aware of that space around your body. That space beyond the yoga mat. Keeping that breath smooth, relaxing, and allowing that tension to disappear. Relaxing the crown of the head, allowing both sides of your head to release to the floor. Relaxing your forehead, eyebrows, eyes, the mind's eye, the space between the eyebrows, your cheeks and chin. And then soften the jaw, the throat center. And feel waves of relaxation from the shoulder joints to the elbows, to the wrists, to the fingertips. Let the wide muscles of the back release to the yoga mat, softening the heart. And take a long, slow inhale and a long, slow exhale. Allowing the softness to travel to the hips, the thighs, the knees, the calves, the ankles, the feet, toes, soles of your feet. And continue that breath, just soft and gentle, allowing the rise and fall to be natural. And then bring your attention back to the palms of your hands, maybe the soft curled fingers, and allow them to very slowly move. Bringing a very soft and slow movement to the toes. And then very gently, when you're ready, just rolling very slowly onto the right hand side. And maybe even taking the knees into the chest. And then very mindfully, very slowly, only when you're ready, start to bring yourself back up to seated, to Sukhasana. And gently bring the hands to Anjali Mudra, just gently the heels of the hands. Inhaling, exhaling, lengthening down the back of the neck.